shit, on our flank.
Woo! Wrecked.
Rift behind you.
Yep.
Tell them to line
He's
up.
like behind me. There's no behind me. There's only forward.
There's only forward.
Come on.
That's why we have.
Shit.
I just assassinated that entire enemy team. Welcome back, Guardians, to another Dream Team video. I'm your humble host, Meesum777, and we are going to take a look at... I know we come out with builds often, and I know we always say, this build is great, this build is crazy, but this is another really good build. I think we're on a little bit of a roll here, and this one is no exception to that. This one I am calling the Assassin's King. Ooh, edgy, right? It makes use of two exotics that I kind of forgot about, I'll be perfectly honest, and that is the Assassin's Cowl and the Rat King. Rat King actually receiving a little bit of an indirect buff because of the recent changes to sidearms. In case you guys don't know, sidearms now across the board have an increase in aim assist, makes them a lot more reliable. And honestly, I remember before Shadowkeep, I think, I was complaining about the Rat King, like saying this weapon could be so good if it just got more aim assist. Now I know on PC it's a little bit of a different story because aim assist really isn't a thing, but on console that was really the only thing holding it back. This thing has a very clean time to kill. It can absolutely compete with those higher DPS, like closer range weapons. I think the only thing that really beats it out is like a last word, but that's not really how we're gonna be using this build. Anyway, we'll go ahead and break into this here. This build is going to be broken up into two parts. The first part of this video is going to be about the build itself, some of the weapons, the armor, etc., the synergies that we're building around. The second half of the build is going to be some tactics to keep in mind as you're using this build in order to see the most amount of success with this. So let's get started. Like mentioned before, sort of the namesake of the build is the Rat King and the Assassin's Cowl. And in case you guys don't know both of these things, the reason why this works so well is that they both have invisibility synergies. They both give you the ability to go invisible if you do a certain thing, if you do X thing. For the Rat King, that is essentially being able to get any kills whatsoever and then reloading. It's like kill clip, but instead of getting extra damage, you get invisibility. It's pretty nice. It does fire full auto, which is also pretty nice as well. And if you get more people to run it, it gets an increase in power. And honestly, it really does not need an increase in power. I could legitimately see this thing being ridiculously good. Like if you ran like... I'm actually just now thinking of this sort of like just after the fact because I'm looking at the full perks here. I was just trying to throw it on just for the sake of the synergies that I was trying to build around. But if you got like a full team of 6 running the Assassin's King build, like the one that we're viewing right now, it can actually be kind of crazy. I could absolutely see a world where that just kind of overruns a team. Like you could overrun the Crucible with that. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic. So let's talk about the Assassin's Cowl. So this one is interesting. This one is something I had received pretty early with Shadowkeep, and I thought to myself, okay, this is cool, but it's not anything terrific. There's a lot of other hunter exotics that are just ridiculously good, and Assassin's Cowl kind of missed the mark for me. The gist of it is that getting, at least in PvP, melee kills give you invisibility and a small portion of health. Now, that in and of itself isn't terrific. It's okay. I mean, you get a kill with a melee, you get invisibility, but you're not trying typically to go for melees, at least not on Hunter. Now, if this was on like Titan, oh my gosh, an invisible Titan with health regeneration after kills on like a shoulder charge build, that would be terrifying. But on Hunters, it's like, it's okay. First time I tried to run this, I tried to run with Bottom Tree Golden Gun with the new changes, and it just was a little too inconsistent. And when I ended up figuring out through, just for the sake of the flavor, I found out that your Night Stalker, your Spectral Blades, when you get a kill with just a normal swipe, it actually turns you invisible. It's really cool, and not like the full True Sight invisibility, just normal invisibility, and it also gives you a little bit of health back. So if you guys are familiar with Nova Warp, the Middle Tree, Nova Lock, Voidwalker, one of the perks on there is that when you get a kill with one of your abilities, it gives you a little bit of health back, and it kind of bumps up your energy regeneration just a little bit. It's essentially that, but without the energy regeneration. And on Spectral Blades, that's kind of crazy because it suddenly gets really tanky. Like, you'll see some gameplay here of in the background where I kind of just dive in with not that much health, and I'm just like stringing kill into kill into kill into kill and just tanking everything because of the health regeneration that I'm getting back. It's kind of unfair. it's really good. And on top of this skill tree, we also have flawless execution. Anytime we are crouched and we get a headshot kill, it turns us invisible, and we can essentially get wall hacks for a little bit. You've probably seen a previous video from our resident Cranky Crab who did a build kind of based off of this as well. This is just another more aggressive version of this. In terms of our secondary weapon, we are running the Fate Cry's Foul. Now, I was debated. I was told that the Fate Cry's Foul has the same amount of zoom as the Soul Survivor, which is the Gambit sniper rifle. I was lied to by, I think it was like.gg. I think the value that they have in there is just like a default value, because I can tell you firsthand that the Fate Cry's Foul has definitely more a zoom magnification than the other one. But nonetheless, Fate Cry's Foul has actually been working pretty well for me. I've got snapshot sights, which is so nice to run. Outlaw, and I'm actually running an Icarus Grip on it. In fact, I hope I have some footage in here. I don't think I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. You'll see it on screen if it is. But I actually have been trying to make use of this, and it is absolutely a legitimate strategy for trying to get some just free damage on people. The Icarus Grip essentially removes that penalty for in-air accuracy, and you can absolutely snipe people when jumping around, especially as a hunter when it's pretty easy to control. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's something that can work. Now, in Cranky's video, he actually made mention of using the Quick Fang as just more of a fun factor, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Is this the best thing you should be running? Absolutely not. But is this fun? Oh, hell yes. This freaking sword is so much fun. It really gives this feeling of being an assassin. Now, I will say, Bungie, I am really disappointed in you. I really wanted the sword to get benefit from the Assassin's Cowl. That would have been amazing, but unfortunately we don't live in that world, and Bungie hates us. Cry. But it would have been cool. It is nonetheless pretty effective, honestly, because most of the time the way that you're engaging is kind of close range anyhow. On top of that, we are running a decently high strength. I have a 6 tier in strength, and we want a decently high recovery as well. Mobility and everything else isn't terribly important. I would generally recommend stacking higher into mobility if you're going to stack it anywhere else. You don't really need discipline. We're not throwing grenades too much, and you don't really need intellect. We're not trying to get our super back that fast. I would say the 3 main stats to focus on are that mobility, that recovery, and that strength. Strength, obviously, for the benefit from the Assassin's Cowl. In terms of everything else on our armor, essentially anything that can give us benefit on Sniper, we have Sniper Dexterity, Sniper Scavengers, Unflinching Sniper Aim, Sniper Loaders. I'm running Fastball as well. I would recommend running Fastball on any sort of backline or kind of a sneaky type build because it allows you to kind of reach out and touch things. Let's move on to the tactics of this. This is where I think this is the most important, because if you try to use this like an ape, if you try to run in and try to just out DPS somebody, you're gonna have a little bit of a hard time. Now, grant you, the Rat King is ridiculously good, like underrated how good it is. Give this, if nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this build, give the Rat King a try. I promise you will not be disappointed. It sticks on target, it does a lot of DPS for what it can dish out, and the invisibility is super cool as well. But the entire point of this type of build is that we want to do like this hit and run tactic. In fact, I might just cut here, or I might cut, just have it in the background here, but I actually got hate mail from somebody saying that, you know, I'm a wuss for using these stealth tactics because of the way that you have to engage. And I got 41 kills in that very same game, and the dude who sent it to me was like 3rd on their team or something, I don't know. Oh, I got added to a group.
Oh boy.
We're getting hate mail too, this is great.
This is so much.
Oh my gosh. Come on, do it. Give me the salt, I need it. But it was pretty funny because the way that you use this build is very elusive. That's the entire idea behind this, is we go in, we engage, our first engagement, we're not going to have our stealth abilities active, right? Unless we're able to get like that sniper headshot with crouch and get that flawless execution procced. The way that we're typically engaging is that we're looking to essentially break up an opening somewhere, get that kill, and then dive into their backline. Not aggressively, but like work your way, like worm your way into their backline. Look for somebody who's kind of hard scoping. You've got invisibility, so you're not going to show up on radar. Now, something to keep in mind as well, Guardians, if you do a double jump, you will show up on radar. So if you can, try not to double jump. Try not to do anything like that. Also, I believe, I haven't double checked this, but if you are standing like right on top of somebody, like in that middle arc of their radar, you will show up on radar as well. So make sure that if you're going to commit to that kill at that type of range, that you're ready to finish somebody off. Another thing to keep in mind with the Assassin's Cowl is that you can get it off of your smoke kills, the smoke bomb kills, the toxic smoke. What is this called? Let me double check. Corrosive smoke, sorry, I was close. Corrosive smoke, you can actually get kills off of it. In fact, I'll show a clip here if I can remember to do it, where I kind of tagged somebody up, throw the smoke on his forehead, and then cool guys don't look at explosion, running away as the smoke finishes him off, and I get the invisibility to proc. And if you can pull it off, you feel like a badass, and you've already won the game. Do what you must. I've already won. In terms of the super itself, use it when you've caught them off guard or they're getting ready to close in on you, right? They've figured out your shenanigans. The long arm of the law is coming to pick you off, and there's not a whole lot of places you can go. You explode like wild tiger, and you wipe everything out. And like I said, you're surprisingly tanky when you've got the Assassin's Cowl procced. If you're able to get like any kills at all, you can just go on a streak, just one into the other, into the other, into the other, into the other. Make sure that you are being fast and efficient and switching between your primary weapon and your sniper rifle. You want to be able to comfortably handle anything at those ranges, and things at like scout rifle range, you're going to struggle, like scout and pulse rifle, I would say, you're going to struggle just a little bit. That's not the range you want to be engaging on. If you're finding yourself in engagements where you're kind of like in this longer lane, and another thing as well is like certain maps aren't going to do that great for you because there's not a whole lot of places you can dip, duck, dive, and dodge around in. But if you're finding yourself in these more open lanes and it's a little bit more obvious where your movement's going to be, you're going to struggle a little bit. So try to be as elusive as possible. Try to just sneak a headshot kill while crouched to get that flawless execution, and then just get out of there. Never stay in one spot too long if you can help it whatsoever. Because the longer you stay in one spot, the less stealth you have overall, because people are, even if you're invisible, they're like, hey, they're still kind of in that area somewhere, so we'll just go find them out. Anywho, that's the gist of the build. I hope you guys give this a try. This is a really, really great beta build. This is a really nice, very flexible. You can take this into basically any engagement. The only thing really, like I said, you're going to struggle with is certain maps just don't cater to it as well. And then other maps like, what's the map? Twilight Gap. Yeah, oh my gosh, that map is so good because there's so many routes that you can take. Those types of maps will do just so good for this build here. It's a lot of fun. It's very effective, and I can absolutely see some shenanigans coming out of it with somebody who's a little bit better at sniping than I am, because I'm not terrific at sniping. I'm just okay, I would say. If you're better at sniping, you can probably get even more out of this. Don't be afraid to use that sidearm aggressively. It has a lot of DPS, and if you catch somebody off guard, go for the kill, man. Just be careful that you're not engaging on multiple targets at once. Remember, an assassin only needs one target. They don't try to take out an entire group. That's for somebody else. Anyway, hope you guys have fun with this build. A positive rating would be greatly appreciated. If you could subscribe, we're a small channel, we're looking to grow. That would be fantastic, and share it around. Anyway, I'll catch you Guardians in the Crucible, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a very merry dawning.